Throwing Strikes Podcast Picks of the Day.
How's it going, folks? It's John Logue here, and I'm here with Kama. We're going over our picks for the day on Friday, April 30th, 2021. Let's see who we got, and let's keep going on kind of a streak we got going on. We are 50-50 kind of, both of us, but hopefully our picks will improve and we can get to that 60% range. So let's go, folks. Let's have a good baseball Friday. Hope you enjoy your weekend. Let's go.
All right, so the first game of the day we have at 6:35 p.m. Eastern time. We have the St. Louis Cardinals, who are 13-12. They're 6-6 away, versus the Pirates, who are 12-12 and 5-5 at home, or 5-4 at home. Excuse me. We got John Grant pitching for the Cardinals and JT Brubaker for the Pittsburgh Pirates. He's got a 2.01 ERA. The line is St. Louis at -111 and the over-under of 7.5. I'm going to take St. Louis in this game. I feel like they've kind of been on a hot streak. Not to say that Pittsburgh hasn't, but I think that St. Louis, their bats have actually been pretty good recently.
Brubaker had a bad start last time after we had hopes of him, and I agree with you. The St. Louis Cardinals have been having a good streak of hot bats, and I think they put it on them on the Pirates this weekend, or Friday, tomorrow, excuse me. So I take the Cardinals as well.
The second game we have is at 7:05. This is the first of three games at 7:05. We have the Detroit Tigers, who are 8-17. Pretty pathetic, if you ask me. They're 4-8 on the road, versus the New York Yankees, who are 11-14, but they're only 4-7 at home. We got Tariq Skubal pitching for the Tigers. He's 0-3. I mean, Tigers suck, so they got 17 losses. 0-3 is not too surprising. He's got a 5.21 ERA versus Garrett Cole. 3-1 with a 1.71. New York is heavily favored. They are at -340. The over/under is 7.5. I will be rooting for the over of 7.5. I'm not going to pick the Yankees because I fucking hate the Yankees.
Well, on ESPN, it shows the line at -360 for the Yankees, over under 8. So
I don't know what ESPN you're looking at, but I'm looking at ESPN, and
I'm looking right on ESPN right here, brother.
I guess I can refresh.
I guess I can too. Am I looking at an old?
Is the line? Oh, it did. It changed. Well, when I was looking at the line, it was -340, 7.5. I'm sticking with the over 7.5 because 8's a lot easier to hit than 8.5, 9.
I'm going with the Yankees. Garrett Cole's on fire.
Yeah.
And honestly, if we are trying to look at the opposition pitcher, Tariq, he's 0-3 with 5.2 on ERA. It's just not looking good for him. The Yankees look for some redemption, and the Yankees.
The Yankees are probably going to win, but I am rooting for the over.
I get that.
Next up, we have the Miami Marlins sitting at 11-13. They are 7-6 on the road, versus the Washington Nationals, who are 9-12, sitting at 5-5 at home. Pablo Lopez is pitching for the Marlins. He's 0-2, but he's only got a 2.93 ERA. Joe Ross is pitching for the Nationals. He is sitting 2-1. He's got a 4.64 ERA. I'm gonna have to go with the Marlins here.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with the Nationals.
All right. In our final 7:05 game, we have the New York Mets coming off being swept from the Red Sox. They're sitting at 9-10. They're 3-6 on the road versus the Phillies, who are 12-13. They're 8-4 at home though. We got Stroman. He's having a good year. He is pitching 3-1 with a 2.25 ERA versus Chase Anderson, who is 0-3 with a 6.48 ERA. I'm going to take the Mets, even though they're probably going to be the Mets and fuck something up. But I think they pull out this game in the series. They'll probably lose the later games in the series, though.
Yeah, I'm pulling for the Mets as well because I don't think Stroman will have another bad outing. He's been solid his first three. I don't think last week's outing will apprehend what will be coming up this week. I think he'll be pulling off something special. Nothing like DeGrom, but I think he will have a good solid outing this week. Maybe season high strikeouts of probably 5.
Just gonna throw it
Or
out
maybe,
there that
hang on, I can't say this actually because I cannot say this actually because folks, every time we name a pitcher, player, anything, the next couple of days they go on the IL for 10 days, they go -4 for 2 days, or just a horrible outing. So we're not going to say any names, but I'm taking Mets.
Just gonna throw it out there that Jacob DeGrom did take the loss to the Red Sox.
No, I get that.
Moving on.
He has no run support ever. He has no run support ever.
Never.
No run support. No run support.
The Red Sox did win 1-0, so the Mets.
You guys lost against the Rangers tonight.
Fucking
Let's go
suck.
next game.
So we got 2 games at the 7:10 p.m. Eastern time slot. First one being the Chicago Cubs against the Cincinnati Reds. Chicago is pretty fucking terrible on the road. They're 3-7. And the Reds are 7-5 at home. The Reds have kind of been struggling with their at bats recently. We got
the Dodgers.
that is also true. We have Jake Arrieta. He's 3-2. He's got a 2.57 ERA versus Wade Miley. He's 2-2 now with a 2.45. Wade Miley started off the season pretty hot. I mean, he had a 0 ERA for a pretty long time. Cincinnati is the favorite at -121, over under of 9. It's a tough game to pick, but ultimately, I think I am going to go with Cincinnati.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Reds as well because they didn't have a good start against the Dodgers, and I think this weekend they're gonna be picked that up. So I think tomorrow they're gonna smash Jake Arrieta, even though he had a good outing last time. I don't think it improves any much. He relies on command mostly. His velocity has gone down greatly, so I'm taking Reds.
And the Cubs' offense really hasn't been there, which is a big disappointment in my opinion.
They had to put Rizzo in the other day against the Braves.
I mean, he struck out Freddie Freeman, which is kind of funny, but.
Well, you got -2 on your fantasy, my brother.
Hey, he still hit a home run that game and got me 14 points, so I don't really care. It's all good.
12.
All
right, next game.
Moving on. Second game of the 7:10 slot is the Houston Astros, sitting 13-12. They're 6-5 on the road versus the Tampa Bay Rays, who are 13-13, exactly 500, but they're only 6-8 at home. We have Lance McCullers Jr. for the Astros. He's 1-1 with a 4.58 ERA versus Ryan Yarbrough. He's 1-2 with a 4.28 Houston is the favorite at minus 121, over under of 8. I think Tampa's going to win at home.
I think the Astros are going to win.
And moving on to 7:37 game, which is a wild time in my opinion. Like, why 7:37 p.m.
4:37.
I have
But
no. Okay. So anyways, we have the Atlanta Braves, who are 12-13, pretty much a disappointment this year. They're 5-6 on the road versus the Toronto Blue Jays, who are 11-12, not living up to their hype. 4-4 at quote unquote home, playing in Florida. We got Drew Smyly on the mound for Atlanta, not living up to expectations. He's 0-1 with a 7.20 ERA versus Robbie Ray, who is 0-1, but he's got a 2.81 ERA. I think Toronto is going to leg this one out. Their bats are kind of hot right now. Atlanta is pretty hot as well, but I think their pitching is just not gonna do it this
Yeah,
this
I'm
game.
going Blue Jays as well.
The 8:05 game, we got the Boston Red Sox, who are 16-10 now. They're 8-2 on the road versus the Texas Rangers, who are 11-15. They're 5-8 at home. We got Eovaldi. He's 3-2, but he's got a 3.77 ERA versus Kohei Arihara. He's 2-2 with a 4.03 ERA. I think the Red Sox bounce back. They didn't have a great game today, but I think Eovaldi bounces back, and I think their bats come alive. Texas really hasn't played good. They've gotten lucky a few games, so I'm going with the Red Sox, obviously, but I'm a little biased.
Yeah, I'm going Red Sox.
At 8:10, we have the Cleveland Indians, who are 11-12. They're 4-6 on the road versus the Chicago White Sox. They're 13-10. They're 7-4 at home. We got Shane Bieber, former Cy Young player here, 2-2 with a 2.48 ERA versus Dallas Keuchel. He's 1-0 with a 4.32 ERA. Cleveland is the favorite at minus 140, over under of 6.5. I think that Cleveland will rally behind Bieber and get the win. I think that over under is that's a pretty good line too. If you're looking to bet over unders, I think that's a pretty good line to hit. Under is pretty good. It really is.
Yeah, I'm picking Indians as well because I have Bieber on my fantasy team. I need to get outing from him.
Following that game, we have the Kansas City Royals, who are 15, sneaky good. They're 15-8, and they're 7-3 on the road versus the Minnesota Twins, who are not living up to expectations. They're 8-15, and they're 3-7 at home. We got Brady Singer on the mound for Kansas City. He's 1-2 with a 2.95 ERA. Versus Michael Pineda, he's 1-1 with a 2.42 ERA. Minnesota is the favorite. The over/under is 8. I'm taking Kansas City in this one. I don't think Pineda. He's looking a little shaky. The Royals, even though they're not scoring a ton of runs, they're not making headlines with the amount of runs they're scoring, but they're pretty consistent and they're playing good baseball. Minnesota's just gonna find a way to fix this up.
Yeah, I agree with you. Pineda will not have a bounce around game. They'll have another negative point game on fantasy, I think, to be honest with you.
The next 8-10 game we have is the Los Angeles Dodgers, who are sitting 16-10, 8-5 on the road versus the Milwaukee Brewers, who are 15-10. They're 6-7 at home. The Dodgers have not announced their pitcher yet, but Milwaukee has Freddie Peralta on the mound. He's 2-0 with a 2.45 ERA. For that reason, I'm going with Milwaukee. I think this is.
Well, you just need him to do good, but I honestly think
he is on my fantasy team, but I think that if anything, this is the game that the Brewers take from the Dodgers.
They lost all the rest.
I believe so. Yeah.
No, they won today, bro.
Did they? Did the Brewers win?
Yeah, Hader got the save.
Whatever. Well, I think Milwaukee wins today.
I'm putting Dodgers.
All right. Moving on, 9:40 p.m. We have the Baltimore Orioles, who are 11-14. They're 7-4 though on the road, versus the Oakland Athletics, who are 16-10. Kind of cooled off after their hot streak. They're 8-6 at home. We got John Means on the mound for the Orioles. He's 2-0 with a 1.5 ERA. Versus Mike Fears for Oakland. He hasn't pitched yet. Oakland is the favorite at minus 125.
He hasn't pitched yet this season?
They don't have a stat in terms of win-loss or ERA for him, so I'm assuming he hasn't pitched yet.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna go with the Orioles this game. Even though the Athletics have been pretty hot, I think that they're going to cool down. And I think John Means is a good enough pitcher to keep their offense in check, in line.
Yeah, I'm going with the Orioles as well.
Moving on, our second 9:40 game is the Colorado Rockies, who are disappointing 9-15. And they're only 1-8 on the road versus the Arizona Diamondbacks, who are 12-12. They're 3-4 at home. John Gray is pitching for the Rockies. He is 3-1. He's got a 2.54 ERA. Arizona's got fucking Madison Bumgarner, who may or may not have pitched a no-hitter. Whether that's up for debate. He's 2-2 with a 6.31 ERA. But like I said, he's coming off of a, call it what you want, but a no-hitter. Arizona is the favorite at minus 115, but I'm going to take the Rockies in this one. I think they get their second win on the road. If they don't win tonight. The game is currently tied 3-3. So,
I'm going Diamondbacks. Bumgarner had 2 solid outings. He can have a third.
Moving on to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have the Los Angeles Angels. They are at 12-11. They are 6-7 on the road versus the Seattle Mariners, who are 14-12. They're 6-5 at home. Andrew Heaney is pitching for the Angels. He's 1-1 with a 4.35 ERA versus Chris Flexen for the Mariners. He's got a 2-1 record with a 2.74 ERA. Angels are favored at minus 145, over under of 8.5. I'm gonna go with Seattle here. I don't think the Angels beat them at home.
That's what I was thinking. I think it's Seattle.
Yeah, even though the Angels are favored, I think that Seattle bounces back. They've kind of cooled off from. They had a little bit of a streak going there, but I just don't think the Angels' offense their offense is good when they're at home, but on the road they're pretty average. So, moving into the final game of the day, we have the San Francisco Giants, who are red hot, 16-9. They're 6-6 on the road though, versus the San Diego Padres. They're 14-12. Not so hot, but they're 5-8 at home. We got Logan Webb, who's 1-1 with a 4.03 ERA for the Giants, versus Yu Darvish, who is 2-1 with a 2.27 ERA. Dodgers are heavily favored. They are minus 203
Dodgers?
with a. I'm at the Padres.
Yeah, what the fuck?
The Padres are heavily favored at minus 203. In the over under.
What the fuck are you thinking about, bro? Fuck.
I saw the Dodgers, whatever. The over under is 7.5. I'm going obviously San Diego. You can't bet against Darvish here. Even though the Giants are red hot, I just think that Darvish is the better pitcher. That over under of 7.5 though, that's I would probably take the under on that one.
I agree on that, but I definitely agree on the Padres. We're gonna be taking 2 of 3 at the very minimum. Let's go Padres.
All right, so I think that is our picks for the day.
And yeah, just one last thing, folks. Have a good weekend. Watch the baseball all weekend. Let's go. Let's have the Padres win all these games. Let's go. Have a great weekend, folks.
Like John said, watch the baseball.
Yep. Yeah. I can't speak.
And
I'm just saying, watch baseball all weekend. Let's go.
Go Red Sox. Go Padres. Thanks for tuning in.